Women, what do you find the most confusing about men? Why some men don't go to the doctor or dentist, unless someone else makes the appointment for them. Doctor because I don't want to know if something is wrong and it's too expensive if something is. Dentist every 6 months without fail because I like having teeth while I'm alive. All I learned from this thread is that women are confused by things most guys don't even think about, lol. Or why we can't find stuff. I wish I knew too. You can be completely oblivious to any mess in the house but can spot a wall has been brush painted in the wrong direction from 20 feet away. Wall is permanent, mess is temporary. Unless you live like me, then mess is permanent. You know that meme, where a woman is thinking, he's probably thinking about other women, and in actuality the guy is thinking the most random of things. Yeah. That meme is on point. I'm a man. But something that confused my wife is when I suddenly take a deep breath for no reason. She's like, "Are you okay? You sure? Anything you need to talk about? What's going on?" And I just say, "Nah, I'm fine. Think I just forgot to breathe and catching up." Edit, popped out for a bit and wasn't expecting so many replies. Thanks everyone for the helpful information as to why we do this. I'll be sure to let the wife know, although she will still ask me if I'm okay. Glad to know I'm in good company with so many others. Edit 2. Thanks for the awards, not sure what they mean but they look shiny. Cheers. Edit 3. To be honest, I feel really blessed that I have someone who cares enough to ask if I'm okay. But yeah, seriously just forgot to breathe. My wife's biggest gripe is that I will spend time hiking, drinking, driving, whatever with friends I haven't seen in months, and when I get home I will have absolutely nothing to report back despite having talked solidly with them for 6 hours. My wife on the other hand will casually pass a friend in the street and within 10 minutes knows what they've done every day since they last spoke, the health and financial status of them and all other friends and relatives, and a forward-facing calendar for the next 3 months. It's funny though. All the bullshit we talk about as guys slowly leaks a bunch of personal information over time. You can tell that one guy isn't happy with his relationship, one guy is broke, one guy hates his job, one guy has a medical issue. You know all of this without really talking about it just because you spend quality time with them. Yet even we can't recount it directly, we just know it in the moment when we are with the boys. Damn, you really hit the nail on the head there. How the dicks and the balls are stored in the underwear. To be honest, as a dude I've never really thought about this. They kinda just fit. Don't really notice them sitting down and standing up unless your dick does one of those random, "I'm gonna get hard now" things. Also when things stick to legs. Ah yes. The step. That we ain't going to the doctor but the limb has fallen off. I've learned a lot being married to my husband, but Therese, one thing I fail to understand in general. Why do you guys like to stare out the window so often? It's usually just going up to a window or looking out the front door, and you fall into a trance. What's up with that? Edit, the two of us are getting a kick out of your responses. Puts a smile on my face. Edit 2, y'all, I know that both genders are capable of looking out a window and both do it. There is the stare that I'm talking about. Lol. Isn't this like 50% of the function of a window? Let's light in. Let's stare out. You might be right. I'm gonna stare out a window for an hour and think about it. This is going to end in a TikTok video with a Minecraft jump and run or Subway Surfers in the background. When they behave as the smartest man in the world and 5 minutes later as the village idiot. Duality of man. My GF is still baffled at the fact that I can just turn off my brain and not think of anything. There's a science museum where I live and there's a game you can play that uses brain waves. Basically it has a ball in the middle of the table that moves based on who has the least amount of brain activity at the time. And you want the ball to move away from you. You put on a headpiece and when both players are ready, they touch the 2 pads on the table with your hands. I'm currently undefeated at a record of 14-0. I'd if I'm dumb or if I just shut everything off but life support lol. Why do men always have the prettiest and longest lashes? As a dude with long lashes, if I was to curl them I'd be unstoppable. Men that are willing to pay a lot of money just for pictures of feet or boobs when porn can be free. Dicks, the way they work is confusing. Like I've been told they only react when seeing or feeling something they like, but I've also been told it will just decide to pop up randomly though the day with nothing. A year or so ago, I was spooning with an ex and napping. We both woke up to cum on my thighs and it was soaked through his underwear and I was like, wait, that's possible? Like I've been told they only react when seeing or feeling something they like. Get rid of the word only and you're correct. But I've also been told it will just decide to pop up randomly though the day with nothing. This is true. A year or so ago, I was spooning with an ex and napping. We both woke up to cum on my thighs and it was soaked through his underwear and I was like, wait, that's possible? Wet dreams are a thing. Though I haven't had one since I was going through puberty. I think they don't happen as long as you're ejaculating fairly frequently. I'm 40 and remember having one around 5 to 10 years ago. Was the weirdest of dreams involving something about doing scientific research, big fight scene against bad guys, then a celebratory sexual celebration with a rando girl. Then I remember waking up just as I was blowing my load and thinking, what the duck, man? That was messed up. Dicks really do control your life. I think you were just watching a Sean Connery James Bond movie and fell asleep afterwards, lol. Highly possible. When my boyfriend is quiet for too long and I ask him what he's thinking about, and he says simply, nothing, and shrugs. This happens at least twice a month. What do you mean nothing? You can actively sit there and just wipe your brain clean? No buzz? Just elevator music behind the eyes ? What kind of ducking superpower is that and where do I sign up? One of two things is happening here. Either he is thinking of something stupid he doesn't want to say aloud or he is in fact thinking of nothing. The comedian Bill Bailey said it best. When men are in that state, they go into a sort of power-saving mode. Screensaver. I find it confusing how men are so forgiving. It's one of the things I adore the most about men and find the most baffling. I'm learning now that men will get over things like 40 minutes after they happen and genuinely get frustrated and sad when their girls hold grudges. I've found that the people I've had falling outs with and was able to rekindle my friendships with were mostly all men. I also find it weird how men will fight each other and then be best friends the next day. You get angry in the moment, but then after you're removed from the situation you gotta let yourself cool off. Once you're thinking clearly you'll realize it wasn't that big a deal and get over it. Usually the start of a fight isn't that big, it's the stuff that comes after that escalates it, so you just recognize that both of you just human and do and say dumb things when your blood is up. Also I think women tend to plan more and then act and men will just act and plan on the fly, so that leads to women believing slights or duck-ups are more intentional whereas men will just think of them as mistakes and forgive them. The problem is, at least in my experience, that some women often don't cool off but rather overthink themselves into a negative thought spiral that makes the emotions worse. So many men I know pass off just this really chill vibe and they all seem to just be cool with each other. How TF do they do it? Not caring is much easier than caring. It's this. My wife is all up into the shit of every single person in our apartment building, and as such, is always pissed off with at least one of them. I wouldn't know half of these people's names if my wife didn't tell me and I'd be perfectly content not knowing. I still don't understand dick pics. Do they really think we look at a picture of a dick, in terrible lighting, sweaty, untrimmed pubes, with your 10-year-old briefs and gym shorts pulled down, and go, oh yeah, this is it? I'm glad I didn't ask for this. The surprise during a fun conversation is so much better. When guys are seriously injured but act like it's just a scratch that they can somehow walk it off. All the guys I know are like this. A serious answer is because we don't want to panic and cause an issue. This is it right here. As soon as a calm guy starts panicking, everyone is panicking. This one was actually funny for me to read. My wife asks me questions like that frequently. How are you so calm when something happens that looks pretty painful? I always want to say, lady, because if I react to this you're going to be screaming like an uncontrollable banshee for the next 15 minutes. Reminds me of when I accidentally cut a chunk of my finger so deeply that it hung off and you could see white underneath. I was internally freaking out and didn't even want to look at it, but did so I could assess the damage. I calmly asked my partner to bring me some bandages and alcohol, and when I turned to look at her, she was pale and her lips were turning blue. She said okay, but I need to sit down for a second. I ended up walking all the way to the first aid box on the bottom floor of our apartment building while holding a cup under my finger to catch all the blood. I wasn't gonna try and walk it off, but I absolutely knew I couldn't panic for her and my sake. TLDR, someone will have to fix it, and panicking makes problems harder to fix.